Good evening students. In today's class I am going to start with the new chapter, that is semiconductor devices. So let us solve the questions related to semiconductor devices. Now see here, what is the first question? The first question is about the relation between the resistivity and temperature of the semiconductor. See here, the resistivity is inversely proportional to temperature in case of semiconductors. In case of semiconductors. So what its meaning? As the temperature of the semiconductor increases, resistivity of the semiconductor decreases. So see here, as the temperature of the semiconductor increases, but the resistivity of the semiconductor decreases exponentially. Then what is the graph for this one, resistivity versus temperature for the semiconductor? So see here, let us plot the graph here. Along y-axis resistivity taken and along x-axis temperature taken. As the temperature of the semiconductor increases, resistivity of the semiconductor decreases exponentially. So graph like this. Now in the given question, 4 options given. What about first option? First option is that in that first option, along y-axis resistivity taken and along x-axis temperature taken. So in the first option, as the temperature increases, resistivity also increases linearly. So this is wrong. This is wrong, because what is the question now? The temperature dependence of resistivity of a semiconductor. Okay. So as the temperature of the semiconductor increases, resistivity of the semiconductor decreases exponentially. Then this is the correct graph. Then in the second option, again along the y-axis resistivity taken and along the x-axis temperature taken. As the temperature increases, resistivity decreases linearly. So this is also wrong. Here resistivity decreases exponentially but not linearly. But in the third option, along y-axis resistivity taken and along x-axis temperature taken, as the temperature increases, resistivity decreases exponentially, hence it is correct. So option 3 is correct. Option 3 is correct. Okay. Now next question. Which one of the following statement is false? So there are 4 statements. In the 4 statements, which one of the following statement is false? Now what is the first statement? See here. A pure silicon semiconductor doped with trivalent impurities gives a p-type semiconductor. Then it is correct. It is not false, because pure silicon doped with trivalent impurities, that gives p-type semiconductor. See here, if pure semiconductor means pure silicon semiconductor doped with trivalent impurities. Trivalent impurities. Here impurities also called dopants. Trivalent impurities gives p-type semiconductor. Then it is correct. Gives p-type semiconductor. So next, if a pure silicon semiconductor doped with pentavalent impurities, that gives n-type semiconductor. Okay, means first statement is correct. Then second statement, majority carriers in n-type semiconductor are holes here. So what are the majority carriers in n-type semiconductor and what are the majority carriers in p-type semiconductor? Majority carriers in n-type semiconductor. In n-type semiconductor are electrons. But in this second statement, what they given? Majority carriers in n-type semiconductor are holes. Hence, second statement is false, means second option is false. So option 2 is correct here. Means second statement is false. So what about third statement? Minority carriers in p-type semiconductor are electrons. Then it is correct, because majority carriers in p-type semiconductor are holes and minority carriers in p-type semiconductor are electrons. Hence the third statement is correct. Then last statement, the resistance of intrinsic semiconductor decreases with increase of temperature. Okay, so this is also correct statement, because as the temperature increases, resistance of the semiconductor decreases, means fourth statement is also correct. Then here second statement is false, hence option 2 is correct. Now next question is, if a small amount of antimony is added to germanium crystal. So antimony is pentavalent impurity. So what are the example for pentavalent impurities? So example for pentavalent impurities. So those are arsenic, phosphorus, antimony. So these all are the example for pentavalent impurities. If pentavalent impurities added to the pure germanium crystal or pure silicon crystal, then we will get N-type semiconductor. Okay, and these pentavalent impurities are called donor atoms. These are called donor atoms. Okay, now see here. If a small amount of antimony is added to germanium crystal, option 1, first option, the antimony becomes an acceptor atom. It is wrong, because so antimony is which type of atom? That is donor atom, because antimony is a pentavalent impurity. Next, second option, there will be more free electrons than holes in the semiconductor. When antimony is added to the pure germanium crystal, the number of electrons more than the number of holes. Hence second option is correct. Option 2 is correct. See here, when the antimony is added to the pure germanium crystal, the number of electrons more than the number of holes. Then option 2 is correct. Then what about option 3? The resistance is increased. This is wrong. Then last option, its capacitance is increased. It is also wrong. Means option 2 is correct. If a small amount of antimony is added to germanium crystal, there will be more free electrons than holes in the semiconductor. Hence second option is correct. Now next question is, the resistivity of an N-type extrinsic semiconductor is 0.25 ohm meter. If the electron mobility is 8.25 meter square per volt per second, then the concentration of donor atoms will be in per meter cube. Means what we have to find? We have to find the concentration of donor atoms in the per meter cube. See here, what are given? The resistivity of the N-type semiconductor given and electron mobility is given. So solution, this is which type of semiconductor? N-type of semiconductor. So N-type of semiconductor obtained by adding pentavalent impurities. Pentavalent impurities also called donor atoms. Okay. Now, what is the resistivity of N-type semiconductor given? So that is 0.25 ohm meter. 0.25 ohm meter. And the electron mobility is given. Electron mobility is mu E is equal to, so that is 8.25. So that is in the unit meter square per volt per second. This is the electron mobility. Then what is our aim? Our aim is to find concentration of donor atoms. See here, what is the relation between resistivity and mobility? That is rho is equal to 1 by N into E into mu E. So it is the relation between resistivity and mobility. But what is N here? N is nothing but it is concentration of donor atoms. What is our aim? Our aim is to find N. Our aim is to find N. Let us take this N to the left hand side. Then N is equal to 1 by rho into E into mu E. Okay. So let us substitute the values. So 1 by rho value means resistivity of N-type semiconductor, that is 0.25, and charge on an electron, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So mobility of electron means electron mobility, that is 8.25. On solving this one, we will get the answer 3 into 10 to the power of 18. 3 into 10 to the power of 18 per meter cube. So this is the concentration of donor atoms. So 3 into 10 to the power of 18 per meter cube. Options are, first option 3 into 10 to the power of 16, second option 3 into 10 to the power of 17, third option 3 into 10 to the power of 18, and last option 3 into 10 to the power of 19. Hence option 3 is correct. Option 3 is correct. Now next question, that is related to p-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor can be obtained by adding trivalent impurities to the pure semiconductor. What are the example for trivalent impurities? So aluminum, boron, gallium and indium. These are the example for trivalent impurities. If trivalent impurity is added to the pure semiconductor, then we will get p-type semiconductor. And these trivalent impurities also called acceptor atoms. These are also called acceptor atoms. Okay. Now, if trivalent impurity is added to the p-type semiconductor, the hole density increases. Okay, means the number of holes in the p-type semiconductor, so greater than the number of electrons in p-type semiconductor. So what are the majority carriers in p-type semiconductor? Holes are the majority carriers. And what are the minority carriers in p-type semiconductor? Electrons are the minority carriers, because when the pure semiconductor is doped with the trivalent impurities, then we will get p-type semiconductor. Hence the number of holes becomes greater than the number of electrons. Now so what is the question here? That question is related to p-type semiconductor. See here, the number of density of electrons and holes in pure silicon at 27 degrees Celsius are equal, and its value is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 per meter cube. On doping with indium, the hole density increases to 4.5 into 10 to the power of 27 per meter cube. The electron density in doped silicon will be, what we have to find? We have to find the electron density in doped silicon. Okay, see here, solution. At 27 degrees Celsius, the number density of electrons and the number density of holes both are equals, means Ne is equal to NH, that is equal to Ni, and it is about how much? So that is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16, 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 per meter cube. Then because the number density in intrinsic semiconductor, initially it is pure semiconductor. Pure semiconductor is also called intrinsic semiconductor. So in the intrinsic semiconductor, the number density of electrons and the number density of holes both are equal. Then next one, on doping with indium, the hole density increases to 4.5 into 10 to the power of 27 per meter cube. Hence hole density is given, that is 4.5 into 10 to the power of 27 per meter cube. Then what is our aim? Our aim is to find the electron density. Then how to solve this one? See here. The number density of electrons and holes, those are equal at 27 degrees Celsius. That is why Ne into NH can be taken as Ni into Ni. Ni into Ni is nothing but Ni square. So when it is doped with, when this pure silicon is doped with indium, then here the hole density increases. Then it can be written as NH into Ne. Then what is our aim? Our aim is to find Ne. Then Ne is equal to Ni square divided by NH. Ni square divided by NH. What about Ni square here? So that is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 16 square. Then it is 2.25. 2.25 into 10 to the power of 32. So divided by NH. Value of NH is 4.5 into 10 to the power of 27. Then on solving this one, we will get the answer is about 5 into 10 to the power of 9 per meter cube. So what is the electron density here? The electron density is 5 into 10 to the power of 9 per meter cube, but hole density is 4.5 into 10 to the power of 27 per meter cube, means hole density is greater than electron density when the pure semiconductor is doped with trivalent. So next question, that is about the relation between current and drift velocity. What is the relation between current and drift velocity? That is I is equal to N into E into A into Vd. Okay. So the current due to electrons can be written as IE is equal to NE into E into A into Vd, and the current due to holes IH is equal to NH into E A into Vd. Okay. Now here Ne is concentration of electrons or the number density of electrons, and NH is concentration of holes or the number density of holes. Now what is our question? The ratio of electron and hole currents in a semiconductor is 5/4. The ratio of electron and hole currents in a semiconductor is 5/4, and the ratio of drift velocities of electrons and holes is 7/4. Then ratio of concentrations of electrons and holes will be, what we have to find? We have to find the ratio of concentrations of electrons and holes will be, means our aim is to find Ne by NH. So by using this relation we are going to solve the ratio of Ne to the NH. Now see here, IE is equal to Ne into E into A into, so VE is nothing but a drift velocity of electrons. Next IH is equal to NH into E into A into VH is the drift velocity of holes. Then what is our aim? Our aim is to find the ratio of concentration of electrons to the concentration of holes. So let us divide these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Then IE by IH is equal to Ne by NH. So EA get cancel. Now VE by VH. But what is our aim? Our aim is to by Ne by NH. Then Ne by NH is equal to, so let us take VE by VH to the left hand side. Then VH comes to the numerator and VE comes to the denominator. Then IE by IH. I is nothing but here the current due to electrons, IH is nothing but the current due to holes, into VH by VE. So what is the ratio of current given? That is 5/4. And the ratio of drift velocity is given, that is 7/4, but it is 4/7 because VH by VE is there. VE by VH given, VE by VH how much given? That is 7/4. But what we need? We need VH by VE. Then VH by VE is equal to 4/7. So let us substitute this one here, 4/7. Then what get cancelled? 4 get cancelled. Then it is 5:7. So it is the ratio of concentration of electrons to the concentration of holes. Here the options: first option 25/49, second option 49/25, third option 7/5, and last option 5/7. So option 4 is correct. Option 4 is correct. In next class we will solve the questions related to the semiconductor, diode and logic gates.